Shannon from Skip to My Life, and on today's video, I'm going to show you the treasures I just found at the thrift store and take you along as I decorate our small space kitchen with them. Let's go. If you love to live an upscale lifestyle on a downsized budget, I'm here for you at Skip to My Life. My kids just pulled out this morning from a wonderful Thanksgiving break together. If you're like me and you're an empty nest mom, that always makes me just a little sad. So I decided to go to the thrift store and see what I could find to lift my spirits and decorate for the holidays on the cheap. First, let me show you what I found in Christmas ribbon. Now, this was pretty incredible. There were bins and bins of miscellaneous ribbon and Christmas decor, but I settled on these few. Got these each for $1.99. Now, it looks like one of these might have been slightly used, but there is still plenty on here. And I chose a whimsical theme with this ribbon. You can see the polka dots and the sparkles. The second is a green spotted sparkles, and it's the red and green. Now, these are really high quality ribbon. If you can find a bin like this at your thrift store, it's a great bargain, and oftentimes you will use this ribbon for years and years to come. Okay, so my second category is glassware, and that is one of my very favorite things to get at the thrift store. The first piece I got were these little red cranberry colored goblets, and I loved the way that these caught the light. I was able to find 4 of these matching goblets, and these would be great for a hot cocoa or coffee bar, but they're pretty small as far as beverages go. So I'm going to be using them for something else in my kitchen, and I'll be showing you that idea coming up. Second glassware purchase for just 89 cents was this ball type jar with a handle. Now, I could not find any price on this, so they gave it to me for 89 cents. And there are some little things stuck in the bottom, so I can see why no one really wanted this, but we are gonna totally transform this little piece. The last glassware piece was $2.99, and you can see it is a cylinder kind of, and this is exactly the shape and size I was looking for. I had something really specific in mind. What I love about these types of glassware pieces is that you can transform them for every season of the year. Once you find a place you love, you can just swap them out for whatever holiday is coming up. Now, this next item was not Christmas at all, but I just thought they were so beautiful, and I definitely want to bring them into my decor this year because I'm using a woodland theme, and they go perfectly with that. 3 nesting bowls. They're made of wood, and it looks like it might be a special kind of wood. If you know what kind of wood this is, please let me know. It looks like it might be walnut, but they're 3 little nesting bowls, and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with those next, but that is coming up, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. My next find at the thrift store, and actually these kinds of finds make me the happiest because they're really unique to me and what I like. They are little whimsical tchotchkes, and so the first one I want to show you, this guy is a little bit odd looking. It looks almost like a Barbie doll Santa. He has movable arms, and you really can't see much of his face. He's got this weird little gift kind of dangling, but I just really loved the personality, especially that coat and the trousers. So we are gonna totally transform this guy to make him work for a 3-tier tray. This guy was $5.99, and ordinarily I don't spend that much on thrift store purchases, but for some reason I just had to have him. And he looks like he is I'm not sure what metal this would be, maybe aluminum, but I know that this guy is never gonna break and he's gonna last for years to come. Next, I found some Christmas decor, and these are just pieces that I can just put into little spots that need a little something. The first was this bottle brush tree, which I got for 89 cents. The next were these cute little figures. Now, these are felt snowmen, also 89 cents, and little deer. Now, the thing that I love the most about these little pieces, you can see on these deer, they really have a lot of detail. So whether I end up using these in a 3-tier tray, in a floral arrangement, or on gifts, I know that they will take whatever it is to the next level. My last two items, I got some real bargains. This spray was $1.99. It has a lot of different elements here. It has some pine cones and some balsam and fir, and it's got a beautiful gold and a little bit of red sparkle to it. So I thought this was a bargain for $1.99, and I'm going to be using this also in my woodland theme. Let's get started by giving Santa a makeover. I am going to be removing most of the glam from this little Santa and starting by giving him a nice little beard trim. I grew up in a house where we were not allowed to ever have hair in our eyes, and so I had to give him a little trim so we could clearly see his blue eyes. And then next I'm going to take some of that decorative ribbon and fashion a little belt and a little bit of an accent piece around his hood. If you're new to Skip to My Life, I am so glad you found us, and I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. One of my favorite things about going to the thrift store is that there are so many hidden little treasures. They may look pretty rough when we first get started, but when we transform them, they turn into a wonderful little treasure piece that brings a smile. I decided that the Santa has just been out to the forest to collect a Christmas tree for his Santa village. So his arms, like I said before, are very bendy, and they just bent right around and held this tree very easily. And now we are going to create a little bling for Santa's hood. And also we're going to cover a piece of glue that was on his back by fashioning a package that's going to go over that. So not only is he carrying a Christmas tree in front, but he has a little gift slung over his shoulder as well. So I hope that this encourages you to repurpose maybe something that you have, something that you've inherited. You don't have to go out and buy all new decor. You can certainly revamp what you have. For 89 cents, I was pretty happy with this little guy, and it's something that I can see myself using for many years to come. Here's the before, and then here's the after. We'll start our next project by putting 2 of the religious candles from Dollar Tree in a pot of boiling water. Now what we're going to do is melt that wax down so that we can pour it into those beautiful little red cups. Once the wax is melted, you can go ahead and pull that wick out very easily and just glue gun it to the bottom of your cups. You can use the same idea in any mug or any glassware that you have. Just make sure that it's fire safe. I lost some footage of pouring the wax in, so I'm going to show you how I did this in another project. You do want to make sure that you pour that wax straight down the middle of your container so that you don't have any residue on the sides. And once that wax is completely dry, you can just snip those wicks and they will look like you bought them in a store. Now we're going to add a little scrappy bow to the bottom of each of these mugs. And if you're not sure how to make this bow, I will include my bow tutorial in the description box. If you're coming back to Skip to My Life, thanks so much for watching today. I love your comments and I love getting to know all of you better. So make sure you let me know which projects you are working on for your home decor this holiday season. For our third project, we're going to take that glass cylinder and fill it with salt. Now you can use a lot of different substances. I like salt because it does look like snow, but it really doesn't leave much of a mess. And it's very inexpensive. So to that glass cylinder, I'm going to add some vintage cookie cutters and a little sprig of greenery. Now this is just something from a bush that I trimmed up in my backyard. And for the finishing touch, I'll tie one of those beautiful little red ribbons around the base. For our fourth project, I wanted to show you how I brought new life to those cute little wooden trays. So I started by lightly sanding them, and then I just rinsed and scrubbed them so that any dirt or residue came off. And for my final step, I took some grapeseed oil. Now you could use olive oil for this. I did want to make it food safe, however, and I thoroughly just let that oil soak in and rubbed it around. If you know what kind of wood this is, please comment below and let me know. I thought maybe it was walnut. My husband thought it was olive wood. So someone out there, please solve our little debate. I love the look of this wood so much that I just displayed it behind my coffee bar. For our next project, we're going to upscale my kitchen hand soap dispenser by transforming it into a fun little frosty soap holder. This guy already has a scarf on, but I decided to really accent that with one of these whimsical ribbons. I'm removing the wire from each side of this ribbon, and it's going to allow that ribbon just to lay a little bit flatter. Because my soap dispenser did not lay flat on the bottom of that pewter bowl, I added a little bit of baking soda this time because I was out of salt. I used it all on my last project. So this ended up being a happy accident, as Bob Ross used to say. This little frosty brings a smile to my face every time I wash my hands now, which is quite a few times a day, so I think that he has earned his place in my house. Our next project is super simple and oh so cute. We're going to be making a Christmas countdown calendar, and I'm using one of these wooden calendars from Dollar Tree and just a piece of shiny scrapbook paper. I just cut that scrapbook page to fit the square on top of that calendar and hot glued it in place. Now this fits in with my woodland theme that I'm doing for my kitchen, but you could certainly vary it to go with whatever theme you have at your house. I also think that this would make a great gift for a child to count down the days to Christmas. I usually have this little calendar sitting in my kitchen window, and it is part of my morning ritual. I come out and I get my hot steaming cup of coffee and I change the day over. So tell me if you have a morning ritual and what are the first few things that you do when you wake up. Next, I'll add my woodland deer that I found at the thrift store, but you could certainly use any sticker that you have or any Christmas theme wrapping paper or gift tag. You'll notice that I placed him up just a little bit from the base. The reason for that is because we're going to be adding a stand so that if you want to put a picture, a Christmas card, or a Bible verse, you can also use this for that purpose. Next, I'll glue a jingle block from Dollar Tree with a hot glue gun to the edge of that block, and this will form a ledge. To disguise the jingle block, I will glue a piece of flocked Christmas tree to the front. Now, this is just a stray piece that I had. For the finishing touch, I'll add a pine cone from our spray. Make sure and watch all the way to the end of this video because I will be giving you a tour of the complete kitchen. Dollar Tree puts out scripture packs several times a year, and I always make sure to snap those up. I have quite a collection now. This would also make a great stand for Christmas cards or family pictures as they start to come in. Our next project is a transformation of that glass jar with a handle. And I finally did soak off all those little yucky pieces on the bottom, and we are going to make a super simple counter decor. I'm starting by placing some twinkle lights inside the jar. Now you can find twinkle lights like this in my Amazon store, which is attached in my description box. And now we'll add some greenery. Now this piece I actually got from a Christmas tree lot. I went during the end of the day after they had had all of their customers, and they were more than happy for me to pick up the scraps off of the floor. I got 2 armfuls of scraps of evergreens, and I have been using them in all my decor for completely free. So try that idea out. Tell me if you have success. Tell me what your experience is like. Now we'll add a bit of fake snow using that baking soda again. For the finishing touch, we'll add a bit of ribbon to complete this festive scene. And here is the finishing project. Now you all could do this so easily with any jar you have in your home. For our final project, we'll make a kissing ball for over my kitchen sink. I'm starting with this globe form from Dollar Tree. Now, I purchased this during the summer with every intention of making something for my yard, but just never got to it. And this was the perfect project to use it on. So we're starting by zip tying all those little circles together so that it forms a ball. Next, we'll take some plain old jute twine and a hot glue gun, and I'm just going to twist that jute twine around and around until it frames the entire globe. Now, this does take a little bit of time, but it is not at all hard to do. As you may have guessed, we're going to be using that woodland spray to create an arrangement inside the ball. So for this, I am using a piece of a green pool noodle. And I have said this in other videos, but I really like these green colored pool noodles for these types of projects because they hold up really well, much better than some of that styrofoam that's created for floral displays. Once I have the shape correct, I am going to use a little spike in the bottom of that globe to hot glue the pool noodle in place, and then we can really get started with our arrangement. Next, I broke those picks down into all the individual elements so that I could really play with the design and have it look like I wanted. The rest was a process of trial and error, just figuring out the look that I was going for. And I did have to fill in with some of my stash of florals left over from my Christmas decorating. For the finishing touch, I added a beautiful red bow and hung the kissing ball from a cup hook, which I attached to the ceiling right over my sink. I could not be happier with this. It just brings so much joy to our tiny little kitchen. So here's the big reveal. Now, my husband and I recently downsized from a 6-bedroom McMansion to an 1,100 square foot rental home. So I don't need a lot to make my kitchen cheerful. I just need a few extra touches here and there. And if that's you, I hope this episode has brought you some inspiration. Thanks so much for coming along on today's adventure. And until we see each other next time, please remember, we need you. Don't give up.